Okay, this class. Hey, wait, Thunder School, where are you at? Hold your hands up. Anybody ever seen me teach before? If you get, oh wow, nobody. All right. Well, I wish you were here yesterday. You could see the foundational stuff I taught, but that's life. Today I'm going to talk about, and I have mixed emotions teaching this. How many of you right now are doing a set somewhere? Hold them up. All right, then I don't feel as bad. Because, eventually, and we asked this question yesterday, how many of you would like to make a living doing this? Obviously, at some point, you got to put a show together. Well, you don't have to, but I recommend it. Rather than, like we talked about, going out and winging it, making it up as you go, or spontaneously just creating your set list 10 minutes before the show. How many people have done that? Come on, be honest. Well, yes. Yeah, it's like, well, here. Okay, I'll talk here. No, don't do that one, dude. Let's move that back here. That's a good clue. And there's our plan for the show. That's like saying we're going to go from, where are you guys from? Pittsburgh, right? We're going to go from Pittsburgh to LA. Let's gather at 7 in the morning. And then as we're getting there, and it's going to be an awesome vacation. And as we gather, somebody pulls out a map and says, so how do you want to get there? Well, how about here? Let's try this way. Let's just see what happens. To me, if I'm going to have a trip from Pittsburgh to LA, I want to experience some cool things along the way. And they need to be intentional. If I want to have some fun, it's the middle of summer, and I want to go, let's say I want to go to a water park. Between here and LA, what's the best water park? Anybody know? Well, of course, it's a little out of the way, but it's Schlitterbahn. You're right. Let's head this way. Is it worth it? Yep, it's worth it. Every review says this is the best place on earth to go. But if you're just making it up as you go, you won't go to Schlitterbahn because it's a little bit out of the way. And you remember I talked yesterday about getting vision for your show, getting a vision for each song in your show? Let's take Schlitterbahn, for example. Schlitterbahn is an awesome water park. By the way, it's outside Austin, in between Austin and San Antonio. And it's fresh water and regular water. I guess it's a river, yeah. Yeah. I could teach biology and all that kind of stuff but going back to vision. If you're planning this trip now, let's say one of you guys takes control and plans this trip, and it's like, no, we're going to Schlitterbahn. Somebody said, no, dude, it's a little bit out of the way, but you're going, trust me, it's awesome. It'll be a moment. Yeah, it'll be a moment. It'll be a fun day is what it will be. And in your mind's eye, I can actually see people, let's pretend we got a little bus. I can see people at the end of the day completely exhausted, wet, but high-fiving as they're getting on the bus going, that was so awesome. That's vision. That's what you want, what you want to accomplish. That's the goal of the day. People getting on high-fiving going, man, that was awesome, then falling asleep within about 30 seconds. That's what you want. Rather than just, well, I don't know, man, let's just make it up. You're driving through somewhere, the middle of Oklahoma, and all of a sudden, the van breaks down, and by the grace of God, there's like the world's biggest baked potato or something, and people get out and go, oh, this is awesome, look at that. And that's what we do. We discovered a moment. And so the next time we take that trip, where are we going to stop? A baked potato, you're right. But that is the long, hard way to develop a show. And you're going to spend tons of time wasted between Pittsburgh and LA that you could have captured along the way. So that's just like having a set. Doing a show instead of just making it up as we go or 10 minutes before coming up with the set list. Most of you were here yesterday, and I don't know if you guys get to come tonight at all or not, but what the idea is to what we want to do is dig deep into these songs, as you saw yesterday, and create moments instead of just play the song. When we're just playing the song, here's what we're doing on that trip. We're driving and go, hey, well, there's a cool water park. Wave at it. There you go. Hey, there's Graceland. Ooh, look at all the people going in. But we keep going because our goal is to get to LA. No, it isn't. It's to stop at these places and experience these places. It's our goal to stop in these songs sometimes and experience these songs. The things that you feel, the emotions inside the song captured, and then emotionally connect with an audience. And if we could take them, like I said yesterday, through 7, 8 different moments, I'm telling you, your merch will go up. In fact, I just got an email today. Did you see it, Jody? They just bought the book. They started working on it. It's a family group. And I was talking to them about tour support, and they pulled out their book, the live music method book. And it was really cute because there's like 7 of them. It's a family thing. And they travel and, they do their thing. And there was the book had 7 bookmarks in it because each of them was reading one book, the same book, and they all had different bookmarks. So it was kind of cute. I thought it was cute. But he wrote me an email to say today, because we sent an email saying, hey, okay, now sign up for the tour support. And he said, Tom, I just want to tell you that just in the little bit we've learned and we've applied, our merch sales have gone up and people ask us back quicker than ever. So by being intentional about what we're putting out to people, for those of you, I know you guys at Thunder School are all Christians. Could you imagine your pastor coming out every day going, well, let's see, 10 minutes before the service on Sunday morning, looking through the Bible, going, yeah, let me talk about this today, okay? And let me be led by the Spirit. And sometimes he'll nail it, but most of the time it'll just be okay. I want someone who walks in prepared, has studied, has cross-referenced, listened, got a vision for this sermon so that they can bring some life to the congregation. Well, and that's what we're called to do in our own way, guys. So let's talk about how to construct. I do have issue with this, Jody. One thing, I'm not sure it's perfect, but it's pretty good. Constructing the pretty good set list. I take these songs and I write them out. I write out the titles of my songs. Not my songs, but the songs I'm working on with the artist. And then I start jamming on the ideas. But before that, what I do is I rate the songs on a scale of 1 to 5. There's a latitude. If we're going somewhere and we know where we're going, there's a latitude and a longitude, right? This is one of those. We'll call it the latitude. So I rate the songs on a scale of 1 to 5. And here's the characteristic of 1 to 5. Now understand this, you type A personalities, and God bless you. Because you're like, oh, now is that a 1 or a 1.5? I don't know. This is creativity and it's a little messy, okay? I'm just trying to give you some context for picking your songs. 5. Here's the characteristic of a 5. A 5 is the kind of song that just plasters your head against the wall. It's rocking. It doesn't mean rocking, but I mean it's big, depending on your style of music. It's the biggest thing you've got. It's got energy. It's got emotion. And if it was rock, it would be, rocking. All right, so 5 is a song that has lots of energy. It's powerful. It might just completely, rhythmically have some juice to it, okay? Now, on the other end of the scale, a 1 is the kind of song that if we did it correctly, in the correct atmosphere, at the end of the song, you could hear a pin drop. It's so quiet. It's a song that is stripped down. You know what I mean by stripped down? Less is more in this case. It's not like that commercial with all those kids sitting around the table and the guy goes, is bigger better? And they go, bigger! Want more, less or more? More! Well, in this case, less. We want to see how low we can take an audience. This is changing the pressure on an audience, which is massively important. We don't want to do a Chinese water torture. I talked about it yesterday. Chinese water torture, they put people's head underneath the water faucet. It was a constant drip and the pressure never changed. And besides, I'm going to talk about it here in a minute, you are dating your audience. So we have got to change the pressure on an audience. So a 1 is, in other words, look at your material and go, oh my gosh, what song is a 1? And then a 3, and hopefully I don't have to explain each one, but a 3 is something right in the middle. It's that green button I talked about yesterday. It's like, nice. And oftentimes they're radio songs. Songs that if you had them or wrote them, or they're right in the middle. Because if you listen to radio, where do you listen to radio? Most of the songs are not completely blasting out of the thing, and they're not number ones where they're really touching songs, because you see people pulling off the side of the road going, man, I can't come into work today. They're playing these songs, because they're so quiet and touching. Now, are there exceptions to this? Of course there are. There always are. But I'm just trying to give you a context here for what your songs are. So, type A's, you can have a 3.5. Some people, when I teach this class, they go from 1 to 10. You can go from 1 to 20 if you want. If you want to be really type A, you can go 1 to 50. I don't care. But the idea is more, less, groove. All right? If you understand that, say uh-huh. If you don't, say uh-uh. All right. So now I write my songs down, I rate them, and then I start finding the right place for them. This is my, I use 3 analogies when I teach. Unfortunately, one of them is not good, but 2 of them are okay. One is food and one is sports. And in this case, this is like a lineup. Does anyone understand baseball lineups? In other words, even if you're a novice at this, what is the cleanup hitter, for example, in a baseball lineup supposed to do? What's his role? Power. His idea is to hit home runs. What about a leadoff batter? What's his role? To get on base. And usually the characteristics of his skill set is he's usually very what? Fast? Yep, you got it. So you need to look at your show like a lineup. No great team ever has just a bunch of fast guys that don't hit for power. And a great team does not have a bunch of guys that hit for power, because what you want to do is have a combination of them all. And it's the same thing with your songs, folks. But unfortunately, most of us, with our songs, let's just pretend here, I've got a great voice, and so what I do is I sing ballad after ballad that starts quiet and builds and has a big payoff. And then the next one starts quiet and builds and has a big payoff. And the next, because it shows off my voice. But after 3 of those, I'm like, give me something else. And so does your audience say that. Now, they're not saying it consciously, but they're saying it by their behavior, by looking down at their watch, by walking out, by not coming back to your shows when they know you're in town, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, by not buying your product at the back. So I said this yesterday, and this is where it starts. You are dating your audience. So what we have to do is construct an evening for dates. In other words, when I'm constructing a set for somebody who is married to their audience and has sold 10 or 15 million or 20 million records, we can have this little, ladies and gentlemen, the curtain's dark, and ooh, and the crowd's starting to pop up, and here they are, and they go crazy. And then if that happened with you, it'd be, ladies and gentlemen, here's somebody you don't know, so here we go. And they'd be going, whatever, because they don't know you. So what we've got to do is construct this with the mindset of we're dating our audience. Let's pretend I'm not married, you're not married. And how do you want to greet somebody On the scale of 1 to 5, do you want to greet them like this? A 5? Hey, it's great to meet you. How you doing? What's your name? Yeah. Or how about this? A 1. Hi. Creepy, creepy. No, we want, how do people like to be greeted? And here are the characteristics of your first song. If you're doing a 45-minute to hour and a half show, it's, quit writing. How do we like to meet people? It's this. It's up. Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Dale.
Nice to meet you. Here are the characteristics. 1, the song is to people, meaning your lyrical content isn't about your angst. I'm in pain. You know, I have really a tough time. I don't say that. I say, hi, I'm talking to people. You gospel artists that start with praise music right away, and you're looking to the sky, and the audience is going, well, what do we do? Where do we pay attention to? No, it's a 3, 3.5. That's how we want to greet people. Energy, but not too much energy. Because if you start at a 5, where do you go from there? Here's other characteristics. The song is short. This is not a time for extended solos. That's like me saying to her, hey, how you doing? Hey, I drive a Mercedes. I got this, I got that. Let me show off. So it's a short song. It's a song that is easy for you to sing and play. This is not a time you have to be straining vocally or musically. This is not the time to do that because your attention needs to be on who? If we're loving our audience, we're doing this thing, and we're not going to be able to get into everything I teach, but there's a thing called one-on-one communication. So the idea is it's a song that you're looking to people in a sense saying, how you doing? Because people in that first song, you know what they're doing? They're watching. They're not listening. Now, let me say this. They hear, but their main focus is, do I like this person? And it's amazing how we make up our minds really quickly. I don't know if this has happened to any of you guys, but seriously, if I'm single, you're single, and you are a good-looking woman, in 10 seconds, I'm like, hi, I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Dale.
Inside my head, I'm going, Lord, is this the one? We make up our minds pretty quickly, don't we? So what we want to do is present our best foot forward at first. And so what we want to do is have a song that we're open, it's got energy, it's to people. What I mean by that is lyrically, the lyrics in your song are to people. It's short. Oh, falling out. It's short. No extended solos. And it has a trash can ending. Trash can ending. Anyone know? Everyone in this room knows what it is, but let me explain it. And there are 1 million trash can endings on the planet. It's and what does the audience do? Yay. Yes, it's a hook. It's me going to this. Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Dale.
I sure like baseball. Now, really, what am I saying to her? I'm hoping I've thrown a hook out here for her to go, baseball? In her head real quickly. I love baseball, but this guy's a creep. I hate baseball. Or, oh my gosh, I don't know much about baseball, but I'm interested in him. Or, I like baseball, he likes baseball. This is great. Yes. I'm throwing that hook out there so I can listen to my audience. That's why we put the trash can ending on it. If I go, bam, and 2 people go, at least I know I'm in trouble. But if they jump to their feet, give me a standing O, I know where they're at and everywhere in between. So I can start listening to my audience because what I really want to do is lead my audience. What most people do is they'll play 3 songs back to back to back. So that's me going, hi, I'm Tom, and it doesn't matter who you are because I'm going to talk to you for about 10 or 15 minutes, and that really doesn't really matter because let me tell you all about myself. Let me sing you a song. And it's rude. And so many people do it. And unfortunately, some of us watch artists who are married to their audience, and we copy what they do, but it's the wrong relationship, and it doesn't work for us. And we're like, well, it's because they're stars. Well, it's because they're married, not dating. Does that make sense to everybody? Say, oh. No. All right. So it needs a trash can ending. And there's a million ways to get creative with trash can endings. Bum, 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 bum. Million ways, but everyone knows at the end of it, yay! In fact, I was just watching a group. It's a group I'm talking to about tour support, and there were 3 celloists, and a guy was playing bongos or something, and we're talking cellos, and they trash canned their first song, and the audience, yay! I mean, it's like it's this innate thing. I remember driving in the car with my son. He was 2 years old. We're driving, and very rarely do you have songs on the radio that trash. They usually fade, don't they? So it was a trash, and all of a sudden, and I hear my son in the back seat sitting in his little car, in his little seat, going, and I didn't teach it to him. So, we need a trash. Now, here's the deal. Right now, I promise you, whether you just take these notes, buy the book, dig into the materials, blah, 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 blah. Some of you are going to start, because I'm giving you little thing after little thing after little thing. You'll say, well, that's good. I don't need to do that. As soon as you start editing some of this stuff out, I've seen entire evenings, no kidding, entire evenings lost because the artist has put the wrong ending on the song. Is anyone, where's my track artist in this room? Sing with track. Come on, hold them up a little bit. Those ones that fade, that's what, you know what that is? It's what we used to call death eating a cracker. That's what this is, in the relationship. My daughter would go, awkward. It's an awkward moment because you don't know what to do because it's fading. The audience doesn't know what to do. So they might have been digging the song, ready to go, yeah. And then all of a sudden it goes, and you're like, and 3 people clap. And here's another reason we put this trash can ending on. In every room you're going to play in your life, there's peer pressure. There's peer pressure. So you put that trash can ending on, and every room there's what I call tail waggers. They love, you come out on stage, they don't know you, but they're just excited people. You know what I mean? And you come out, they go, yay, we like, and no, but we like everything. And God bless those people, right? We're like, yeah. Then there's fence sitters, people that are like, is it cool to like these guys? In the Christian community, it's like, are they spiritual enough? All these little things. But if we put that track, and then you've got people that are like, I'm not going to like this on purpose. And it's only 3%. So we have different personalities in the audience trying to make up their mind if they like you. So we're going to make up their mind for them if we do this right. By putting that ending on, boom, boom. The fence sitter, the excited people will be going, yay! And the other ones will start clapping too because they know what to do. And then the ones that are trying to make up their mind, they're going, well, they like them? Okay, I like them too. And then all of a sudden we start building momentum the right way. But if we put the wrong ending on it, it's always going to be an awkward thing. Dead air, death eating a cracker, etc. All right? Make sense? At the end of this song, now we're into a technical thing. At the end of this song, what we want to do is a cutoff. Is this more interesting to watch? Bum, 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 or ba da 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 down. A or B? Bigger or better? No. Yes. Physically show the cutoff. Those of you who play with a band, big mistake happens all the time. What do? We're standing up on stage. The front man's out here. Let's say he's rocking. We're just starting to track with him. Oh my gosh, could be, this could be a great show, good front man. And then all of a sudden we get to that trash can ending, and everybody in the band does what? Ba, da, 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 da. We turn around and give our authority to the drummer. Big mistake. You don't give your authority to a drummer. The person who's in charge is who? We talked about this yesterday. The front person. You're in charge. You're the quarterback. And I already know, listen, I've done this 5 million times. So I say that, and all of a sudden the guys in the band go, but what happens if, what if we end at different times? And I say, that's why we rehearse cutoffs. We teach the front man how to lead a cutoff. He's not going, you guys ready? Everybody okay? Everyone is following him. Because what we're trying to do in this first song is create peer pressure, get people on our side, establish the front man as authority. And I said this yesterday to everybody, you are constantly, the whole entire show, sending signals non-verbally to an audience, whether you realize it or not. And most people are sending misdirection signals that tell the audience, or don't tell they're misdirected. It's like, oh, well, are we supposed to? But if we send the right signals, the audience, which is sat out there how many times in your life? Thousands and thousands and thousands. You know what to do in certain circumstances. But if we don't send those signals, the audience doesn't know what to do. And they're nonverbal. You don't have to say a thing. They're what you do physically. And these are the things to rehearse. I can't tell you, artist after artist, and I can't name names because we're on film, but artist after artist, I taught to do a cutoff. And the idea is to find your own voice with your cutoff. In other words, you do it your own way. But we'll start with this. Girls, bow, bow. You know what to do, don't you? You know exactly what to do. Versus, boom. And here's some of the biggest mistakes. Turning around to the drummer. The second is, the song ends, and everybody in the band does this. I got to get some water. I got to do something. We take the pressure off the audience. We're doing exactly the wrong thing. What we want to do is finish the song, at least hold our ground. If you want to be bold, depending on the style of music, you take a step forward, and what does this mean? More. What does this mean? Who's starting to establish that we're in control? The front person. And here's the deal. This is not arrogant. I talked about this yesterday. This is taking charge. This is authority. And this takes humility to do this, because you could feel pretty awkward if you've never done this. And you got to have the courage to take that risk to do that. So, a cutoff, boom, yeah, boom. And if you have a live group, you always have to give an anticipation note. Boom. So the band, the people on stage can follow. Otherwise, it is a train wreck. You go, ba, ba, and so you need an anticipation note. Bam. Voila. There's an applause cycle. Applause starts here. I'm going to build my own applause cycle right here. Starts going up, and as it reaches its peak, it starts coming down right here. So imagine a circle like this. That's where you make your next move. What most people do is this. Even if they do the cutoff right, boom. Thank you. So we've started our next move right here, and as soon as we start talking, what does the audience stop doing? Yeah, because got to hear. What if they're saying something? Particularly, now here's the deal. You're going to watch Beyonce do it or whoever, and a lot of them do it wrong. And you're going to say, well, no, they didn't stop applauding. They are married to their audience. When you're married, you can talk both at the same time if you want. It's rude still, but you're not going to get divorced. Hey, I want a divorce because you talk when I talk. So the correct way, you end the song, you pull the microphone down. Does everyone? You're listening to the applause cycle, it hits its peak, starts coming down. Thank you. Now we're in control. Doesn't mean you have to talk right there, but that's the next place. Next, the drummer starts, or the next track rolls, or whatever. What we're trying to do is avoid dead air, but at the same time, we want to let the people respond. They call it an artist-audience relationship. Relationship. And the idea is to establish yourself as authority, listen to your audience, and lead them where they're going. And if you can't hear what they're saying to you, how do you know where to take them? How to speak to them? If they're like, at the end of that first song, yeah, you don't go, all right, thanks a lot. No, you're like, all right, that's awesome today. If 3 people clap, you're like, all right. Are you tracking with me? You're listening to your audience. You don't want to come in, 2 people clap and go, hey, that's great, you too. So we want to listen to our audience. The end of this, we don't want to back up. And I promise you, and I spend hours with bands because they finish a thing, boom, and their first step is always back. And that's telling the audience, and there's a reason for it unconsciously. One of the things is, if they don't clap, this is not going to hurt as much as, what do you think? You know, this, if they go, this hurts. This doesn't hurt as much. You got it? No, you don't. So remember, in the first song, listen, this is just the first song. So, review. 3.5. Now, again, you type A, it could be a 3, it could be a 4, but it's got energy, it's 2 people, it's short, it's sweet. Has a trash can ending, no extended solos, no extended vocal licks, we're not trying to show off. This is not one song, by the way, at a contest. That's a whole nother world. This is running a mile. We have to pace ourselves. This is not a sprint. We do cutoffs. We accept applause, is what we call it. We listen to our applause cycle, and then we move at the right place. This is the place, when I'm dating an audience, I recommend saying something to your audience. I don't recommend playing 2 or 3 songs without saying a word. Now, I don't stop and go, all right. I'm like, hey, thank you very much. What I do is I have 3 things I try to do. I try to reintroduce myself. That's right. I'm Tom. It's great to be here. Today we're going to hear so I'm going to reintroduce myself. If I'm in a band, I'm introducing the band. But I'm not. There's 2 kinds of intros. One is, out of the way, from St. Louis, Missouri. You know, his mother, flies kites on Wednesdays, eating hot dogs and whatever. To give it up for, we've all seen those intros. Is that a little, and we've seen them at the wrong time. Could you imagine after the first song, okay, on guitar, there he is, and the audience is going, they know what they're supposed to do, which is clap, so you get awkward feeling of, well, I don't know him, but I guess I'm supposed to clap. I know what I'm supposed to do, but this is weird. And, I want ice cream when I walk into a restaurant, but they don't walk up to you and say, hi. They ask you, do you want some water? They don't go, hey, what do you want for dessert? So we have to do it the appropriate thing at the appropriate time. This kind of intro is this. Hey, before we go on, I want to introduce everybody to you in the band. This is Fred, Ethel, Lucy, Ricky. I'm Tom. So now we know our names because in the first 3 minutes, they're trying to decide if they like you. Now they know your name. Then tell them your purpose. We're here to have a good time. Christian artists. We're here to lift up the name of Jesus. Party artists. We're just gonna party tonight. So what you do is reiterate who you are quickly. Tell them your purpose for being there, and then give them permission to do it. So, you want to have a good time? Clap your hands. Oh, it's nice to see you. Clap your hands, stop your feet, because we're going to get going right now. Boom, right into the song. Well, we've established this verbal thing with them. They know our name. We're telling them, go for it. We're creating, see, your job. Remember I talked yesterday about confidence, authority, charisma. Charisma comes from practicing authority. Over and over again, you start developing like a super confidence. And it's all, and again, it's slippery as soap, but your job is to create freedom in the room. To create freedom in the room. Now I'm going to freak a few people out, but so the Spirit can move. You ever heard people talk about U2 concert? Oh my gosh, non-believers who, U2's a Christian, well, they're not Christian, but they're Christians, and people come back and go, oh my gosh, that was a religious experience. Springsteen, that was a religious experience. Genesis, that was a religious experience. That's what I'm talking about. There's something that transcends the music. We've all experienced that in our lives at different times, in a movie. So what we want to do is give them permission so that they're loose. And once they're loose, and if we know where we're going, we can lead them where we want. And all of a sudden it becomes more than just a musical event. It becomes special. Tracking with me? All right. Second song. It's almost a carbon copy of the first. Just want to make sure we establish that we're up, we're energetic. These are the kind of songs too you could move to. See, I don't care if he leaves. We could move to or not, but we have that freedom again. So it's a 3.5 minute song, etc. Right in there. Now for you where you at that's doing ambient DJ stuff. Probably it's not going to probably be 3.5 minutes, a little longer, but get the concept. Keep it short, keep it sweet. It's a song you can move to. It's two people. It has a trash can ending. But the only difference is this. If at the end of the first song, you put that trash and they're totally with you, you hear, yeah! That's the place where you start going. It's like coming here, I'm like, I like baseball. You do too. Then I'm going to go, well, then let's go to a game. And if she's like, I do too. I mean, they're really with you, your crowd. I'm going, I'm finding a game right now. So what we want to do is at that place, if they're with us, make sure that in this place, the song's got a groove to it. So come on, put your hands together with me. We're starting to engage the audience. If only two people clap, you don't go, put your hands together with me. I like baseball. You hate it.
I hate baseball.
Well, let's go to a game then. Wrong dialogue, isn't it? Well, we do this all the time from the stage. Nobody wants to clap, and people go, come on, everybody. I mentioned this yesterday. How many times have you heard, here's the subtext Ladies and gentlemen, have we got a treat for you? Because I know the big artist is coming out in a minute, John Mayer, blah, 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 whoever you're opening for, Stephen Curtis, Chaplips, whoever. But before that, we've got a treat for you. And it's my friend, great singer. Here's the subtext. I know their sister. I'm married to her daughter's mom, and they have something on me, so I'm letting her sing a couple songs for you. And they go, okay, so let's give it up for, Mary Smith. And Mary comes, come on, everybody, stand up and put your hands together. No. You're cute. Let's get married.
Yeah, right.
No. Way too early in the relationship, and that's what we do with our audience. But if after the first song we're listening to our audience and they're with us, then we ask them to go to the next level. You get that? Say, All right. That's why we put the trash can ending on there. Just like we talked about yesterday. Remember we did that little vocal thing? And they went, and the audience was going, woo! We put that in there for a reason. So we can listen to our audience. We're putting cues in constantly. On the date, I'm saying something that makes, are you still with me? She might scoot a little closer. I'm hoping. All right, so the first two songs are kind of carbon copies. This is with the intro in the middle, and these two little songs with the verbal thing of introducing yourself, giving people permission, and giving them the purpose for being there. I call that your intro moment. See, I want you to stop thinking about songs. I want you to start thinking in terms of moments. It's not song. I mean, it is, but that whole little area, it's 6 to 8 minutes long with the verbal, is where you're introducing yourself to your audience. And you're using two songs and a little quick intro to accomplish that. We put a trash can ending on that, and hopefully we're starting to build more pressure. By that time, see, in the first song, they're watching, trying to decide whether they like you. We just can't, and they're not deciding by how great musically you are. If obviously something is wrong, we've all heard where, did you guys ever see that, what was that YouTube, where somebody started, it was Van Halen. And you remember the song Jump? Please say yes, some of you. Bop, 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 bop. Well, the keyboard was tuned wrong. It was detuned. So it was like, and then the guitar came in totally out of key, and you could just see the audience going. So it's obvious, if there's something obvious, you've all seen it where somebody starts hitting their guitar and, oh my gosh, the weather got to it or something that's completely out of tune, or you're starting the wrong key. They notice those things, but other than that, they're not picking you apart at all. Even musicians aren't. They're just trying to decide whether they like you. How is that done? Confidence, authority. I hate to say so trite a thing. Oh, he's cute. Oh, she's cute. But that's truth. Now you back that off a little bit. Oh, they look pleasant. That's the first song. Second song, they're watching. They're just starting watching. They're watching. They're just starting to listen. Third song, they're listening. This is where you play a great song. So when you look at your list now, you're looking for a song. Now let me say this. I would recommend it. Usually I'll put a song because it's a radio song that's a hit or something like that. In your case, you probably don't have that, but because no one sold 1 million records yet. But you find a song that you would think, oh my gosh, the song itself is just a freaking great song. So now they're listening, and then they're going, okay, I like them. Oh my gosh, this music is so good. You might vocalize a little bit. Don't go too far. Not time to go for it yet musically. But the song, Now, you know, I've got people in the music industry that would cringe at this, but they're wrong. You really only need 2 or 3 great songs in your show. Great songs. This is the kind of song where it's just magical. The intro, the verse, and we all have them. At least hopefully 1 or 2. Where, oh my gosh, it just came together. This is the right song at the right time, at the right place. And the audience always responds to this song. This is the place to put it. Because, not the first song. A lot of people put it first. And it's a mistake because people aren't what? They're not listening. Now on a demo, it's a totally different world. Demo, you want to put it on the first song because people, if it's not good, they won't go past the first song. But this isn't a demo. This is a mile race. You may start a little slower and pace yourself. So this is a song where lyrically, musically, rhythmically, it's just stellar. And now remember I talked about latitude and longitude. It does not matter if it's a 1 or a 5. Well, I wouldn't go to a 1 probably here. Most people don't even have 1s. That's a whole nother story. But latitude and longitude, the key here is this. The moment, this is what I call great song moment. And great song moment, it's just done getting simpler than that. Now let me say this, we don't need a trash on the end of this. We don't want to trash every song. By now we've got a sense where they're at. Now it would be nice if it resolved, if you have a drummer, you go, and the audience knows it's over. It's not a time for clever endings. In country music today and some of the other genres, you know, there's these endings that don't resolve. Do you know what I mean by resolve, everybody? Yeah. We want it alive, particularly when we're dating our audience. We need to let it, most of our songs resolve or end where the audience knows it's over. If we get too clever, we're going to lose our audience. See, you can get clever on a record. In other words, name me a group. Muse can get clever and end on a because when they go play it, they're married to their audience and everyone knows that's the end. When you end on that, they're like, is there more? Can you see what I'm saying? So what we want to do is resolve. And many, many times, even with signed acts, I'll go back to the root, put the resolve on it, and the audience always responds better. Keeps the audience loose. This is live. This is not record. Get as clever as you want on record. So this is a great song. I've got 3 up there because many times great songs are, you know, hits on radio or something like that. Now this is where I don't want to put you guys in a box, but most of you who construct your set list 10 minutes or 30 minutes before your show, what I want to do is kind of give you a roadmap. Remember I talked about going from Pittsburgh to LA. Well, I've made that trip 1,000 times. And I don't know about you, but if somebody's made a trip 1,000 times, and I know I'm doing that, I might ask them, well, where should I stop on the way? Because it'd be nice to get some advice and figure it out. Well, I recommend right here, conceptually, this is not for all of you, but singer-songwriters, a band, a pop opera guy, this might be the place to put a story. Start telling a story. Start revealing yourself to your audience. Because people come to see people, they don't come to hear just music. Now, I don't know if I think I heard, I was in the back, Lang was talking about telling stories yesterday. Were you? Yeah. This is the place to do it. And no one, here's the beautiful part about a story, no one can really dispute a story. You know what? Remember when I talked about my little conversation with God? You know, overcoming stage fright I had? You know, no one has ever in 20 years to tell them that story come up and say, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Now, they can say, when I say 75% of the world, is hungry, you can go, people can come up and go, no, that's not right. I read last night. They have legitimacy there. But a story? And here's a beautiful part about a story. Everybody in this room, everybody in this room can tell a story. Now, I know for some of you, it is scary as you know what. But listen, you're the front person. Now, if you're a guitar player, or the bass player, the drummer, just pick your nose, whatever you need to do, get a drink of water. But if you're the front person, part of your skill set to be a front person is to talk to people. It's like the quarterback. You're the quarterback team. Part of his role, let's construct what a quarterback is supposed to do. His job is, help me, literally on a football team, give me some of the things that if I'm scouting a quarterback to put on my pro team, what are some of the skills and qualities that we want in a quarterback? Yell them out. Accuracy. What? Leadership. Great. Intangible, isn't it? That goes back to the authority. When Peyton walks into the huddle, no one else talks. You know who Peyton is? Everybody? Last name Manning. Yeah. Kind of a hack of a quarterback. No. Leadership, throwing skills, technique. In other words, he's got to learn to do, there's literally a thing called the 3-step drop, a 5-step drop, a 7-step drop that he works over and over and over and over and over again. Just like you should learn the 4 ways to get places on stage. You should learn to walk with authority, skip and run. And you just don't, he doesn't look, 3-step drop, okay, I can do that. I got it in my head. I don't know if you guys have ever seen football practices. They're doing stuff in tires and around these things that have nothing to do with the game. But they have everything to do with the game. So anyways, in your context, you, the front person, are the quarterback, and your job description is to verbally talk to the audience. And if you don't want to do that, don't sing. No, seriously. Find a background singing job, learn the instrument, whatever. But if you want to develop a career, this is part of the gig. You want to just like if you don't want to throw passes, then don't be the quarterback. So, tell a story here. And let me tell you, every single person in this building could tell a story. Let's pretend right now, I'm from Southern California, and there's earthquakes. I live here now, but we have tornadoes here, so it doesn't matter. Let's just say an earthquake happened right now. The building started shaking, bricks started falling down, we dove for cover, and then, we all came out of it like, oh, we're safe, awesome. How many of you would get on the phone 20 minutes later, you'd be calling your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, friend, going, oh, this is what happened. You tell the story like that? And here's the amazing thing. We'd all tell a little bit different story, our own way. So this is the place to tell a story to set up the song. And it might not even be setting up it might not even be totally about the song. Obviously it'd be nice to tie it a little bit. But the idea is to start revealing yourself. This next place is what I call where we need a different moment. Different. After 3 songs, I don't know about you, now I mentioned this, and it's like a paradox. I've said audiences are what? Yeah, they're not they're ignorant. They're not going, oh, Mixolydian scale, oh, cool, fifth and harmony, and they're not doing any of that. They're going, I like it, cool groove, cute. But by the end of the third song, there are inevitably people that are a little sharper, and it's usually you and some leaders that are like, after 3 songs. Let me ask you this then, another way. After 3 songs, do you think most of you have figured out the artist? Yeah, you're like, okay, I get what they're about. Well, that's the problem. A lot of people are kind of like that. So what we need to do is throw them a curve. Go, whoa, no, you don't. I don't know, sometimes I read late at night, and when I'm reading whatever I'm reading, I'm like, I look over the clock, go, oh, I gotta get up at, I gotta get up early, 10:30 tomorrow. So I'm like reading, and I'm thinking, okay, I gotta go to sleep by 2. And then I turn the page, new chapter, plot twist. Anybody experience this? And you're like, okay, 2:30. Because it keeps your interest, because it's a change of pace. That's what we want here. That's what we're trying to accomplish. Now, I'm not saying all of a sudden become somebody different, though that can work. Strange can be good sometimes. I mean, if that's part of your personality. But this is the place to throw people a curve. If you're let me just give you the most obvious ones. You're a rock band. Let's pull out an acoustic guitar here. You got somebody who sings a lead on one song. This is the place to introduce them. That doesn't normally sing. The guitar player does. You're a track singer. This is where you pull out your guitar. You're a guitar player. This is where you pull out a track. We can go a million different ways. But the key word is different. Throw them a curve. Something a little bit different to keep their attention. Otherwise, you're going to lose a percentage of the people. This is also a place where I like to introduce some musical moments. You notice yesterday when we pulled that a cappella, well, it wasn't a cappella, but where's the brother-sister duo? There you guys are. Where we started doing that vocal thing with you. If we played 3 songs and all of a sudden we dropped into that, and this might be the place where, do you play guitar at all? So I might start with the 2 of you on guitar for 3 songs, you pull it off, then do the vocal, and it's a little different. You see what I'm saying? And we start adding a vocal thing where people go, ooh, sweet. Now, great musical moment is not great song. Great musical moment is, guitar player walks out and goes, and of course the audience does what? Woo! Now, was that a great song? No, that's not a song. We haven't even got into the song yet. But if you got a great guitar player, you got a great vocalist, and even when I say great, forget that. Anybody can pull a musical moment out of the hat with enough practice. I can tell you artist after artist after, I can make, it's on film, sorry Bob. I can make Bob Dylan into a vocal moment, okay? If we do it right. Everybody know who Bob Dylan is? Please. God, I am definitely getting old. In my head, I'm still 25. All right. Point is, different and music story. Here's this little piece right here. You're going to tell a story and do something a little bit different musically, and we're going to wrap a musical moment around it. Either at the beginning, in the middle, at the end, doesn't matter. So, the idea now is, and is it time to go? The idea now is, we're starting to look at our list of songs and see what lines up. Okay, now I'm starting to pull the players out. What is different in my roster here? This is where I need somebody that, a song that does something different. Now here's the beautiful part and the sad part at the same time of lining these up and starting this lineup. You're going to start discovering you don't have all the players you need for a great show. And that's okay, because now's the time to figure it out, rather than some of the groups I've worked with that come out the chute, again, no names, first song they ever did, 18, 19-year-old kids, and it went to #1. They had no idea what they're doing on stage, And their songs, the selection of songs was so limited, it was just that one song was massive. So now they get a call, oh, you're going on tour with doing 17,000 seats a night, and you know, oh my gosh, what do we do now? You're asked to run, not a mile because they were still the opening act, but not the opening, but before the headliner, but they're still asked to do a half hour, and they didn't have a half hour of great material. Oops. They had one great song and a couple others. So now is the time. But so the idea of this is looking down your list of songs and going, I could develop that moment and that. I could do that. Ooh, my gosh, I have nothing that does that. Just like a baseball team. I have no cleanup hitter. What do I do? Well, we got to go find one. We got to go write one. We got to go create one. That'll take a little while. So that we have that in our lineup to make that happen. You're tracking with me? Say, uh-huh. All right. And then what we're going to do here is construct a set, and I'm going to finish it later today, where we've got all the players in place. And let me say this. Again, it's not the perfect set. Now, let me finish with this. You have instinct. You have been given a gift. You need to listen to it. I talked yesterday about having the courage to take risks. Getting a vision. You start getting excited about something. And then immediately your head, tell me this has never happened to you. It happens to me all the time. Even to this day, I get an idea for a song. I'm like getting really excited. I'm really just inspired as heck. And then right behind it, boom, what if it doesn't work? Oh, so I have a choice to make. Do I listen to faith or fear? And if I shut it down, my show will always be mediocre if I don't take that risk. This is the place. That instinct that you have is what's going to make your show uniquely yours. Does that make sense? It's like walking into remember we talked about in the analogy of a house, furnishing a house. It's your house. You furnish it the way you want to. I don't care what everybody else thinks. Of course we do, but you walk in and you see this pink flamingo that for some reason, you look at it and it's like, yeah, that is awesome. And your wife goes, you know, what happened? Did I slip something? I mean, what? You know what? I'm gonna push to get that pink flamingo in my house, if it's in my office even, because it speaks to me. No, but seriously, that instinct that you guys have. So with that said, as I'm running through this set list, how to put a show together, and you're doing the same thing, and you're starting to write your stuff out, and you get ideas when you, again, do what I do. Write it on a sheet of paper. Write them out. Start creating ideas on what if this is an awesome vocal line, I'm going to develop this. If it goes different than what I say, in other words, right here, I think this would work even better because you got a vision for your show. Listen to your instinct. Don't listen to mine. You know you better than me. I'm just trying to give you a roadmap. If you don't want to go to Schlitterbahn because it might be too far, or somebody else, you know what else is another great water park is Denver. Colorado, any people from Colorado here? Yes, that's right. We talked about those brownies. What? Water park. Yeah, I might head there because I've gone to Schlitterbahn a couple times, but that's a great water park in Denver. I still got a bruise on my back from it. It has never gone away, but it was fun as heck. Point being, if I'm driving from Pittsburgh to LA and my instinct says as I'm planning my trip, no, don't go to Schlitterbahn, go to Denver. Guys, go to Denver. Because that's what makes it unique for you. I'm just trying to give you the roadmap, this, and the moments that go into it, you can put in where you're going yourself. But That's what this is, but listen to your instinct, okay? So we're about halfway through this set. And we'll pick it up later. Throw in here a couple things about speaking to an audience. I want to point out, just like your songs, speaking to an audience, you don't want to stop a song, tell a story, stop a song, tell a story, stop a song, tell a story. Or just, in other words, we want to have a variety when we speak too. So between the fourth and the fifth song, I'm going to throw what I call just a transition. A transition. And here's what you don't want to do. I mean, unless you're amazing at this. Because I've seen a million set lists where, they got the name and then you have T. And I'll just make something up right there. And I know a lot of you do it, but it's like, you don't even know what you're saying, you don't know what you're trying to accomplish, So what we want to do here in this set list is just do a quick transition. And so that somebody can change a guitar, we can keep the thing moving along, we keep the verbal thing going with our audience. So we'll just do a 3-sentence. So I was in San Francisco last week. I'm a big fan of baseball, and I wrote this song. It's called The Joy of Baseball. Boom, that's a transition. But we want to say something, and we want to take the energy from where we're at with our two, meaning our different, and move it up to, where's our next song go? Oh, we don't have it here. All right. It's another 3.5. So we wanted to, so it'll be like we finish a song, it'll be like, all right, smattering of applause. We put an ending on it that I hope has at least a resolve. Don't need to trash this. I'm back at fourth now, folks. Forgot to put the ending on that. So let's resolve this ending. It has an end. And you're going to get a smattering of applause. And that's what you should get out of this. In other words, don't expect gangbusters. In a relationship, it would be great if every, time you went out on a date, you're like, oh. But instead, sometimes, you just hold hands and go get some ice cream. But that's a part of the relationship. So at the end of this song, you should get just a smattering of applause. And that is the correct response. So as you're listening to your audience, that's what you're going for. If the song just goes, din, 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 brown, dum, yay. It's not going to be like, ah. And what a tendency for very insecure artists, which is all of us, is to always end big so that we get that, is it okay? It's kind of like Back to This Date. Every 5 minutes I'm going, do you like me still? Do you like me? I hope you like me. After a while, she'd be like, geesh. Insecurity on 10. So, and this song probably, and I'm back at 4, wrapping up 4. I've had it as short as 4 minutes long. And with musical artists that are amazing, I've had it as long as 13 minutes, where we develop these musical moments around a song. So we're in no hurry here. Remember, we talked about developing characters and themes. This is one of the songs I worked on, we had bagpipes, sitar, and African drums, and yet it was only a 4-minute pop song. But trust me, no one in the audience was going, well, this is longer than 4 minutes. They're going, and then we had these little drums that they sold at merch. We built our merch around this moment. We tried to sell bagpipes, but they were a little expensive. All right, so that's wrapping up the 4th song. 5th song, right before it, we do a transition. So we take them from where they are on our graph 1. We're down at a 2 according to that graph, and we're just going to talk them up to the next song. So this next song is about a song called Baseball, and I really like playing baseball. I was in San Francisco last week, and I wrote this song, and here it goes. So I'm with my cadence of my voice, with the inflections of my voice, I'm transitioning them to the next song. Tracking with me? Good. Okay. Fifth song. This is the other place. Remember I mentioned earlier, there's really, I put together great shows with only 2 great songs in the set. This is the second place for a great song. The difference with this, so this is a great song moment, but it's also a place where I will stretch. In a perfect world, and I'm not saying you guys are in this place because you haven't had this yet, but just to get a concept, this is a song that maybe when I'm working with an artist who's signed and has had a hit with this song and they're so sick and tired of playing it the way it was on the radio because that's what their fan base wanted, we develop musical moments in it. No, we go into the song and start tearing it apart. So we add something at the beginning, we might add something in the middle, we might even break it down, talk. But the idea that we keep the song intact, meaning the verse, the chorus, the verse, the chorus, and probably the bridge, but we might spread it apart at the intro, we might develop it at the end on the outro, and sometimes, after the bridge, before the last chorus, we will develop some musical moments, depending on what it is. Actually, the song I was just telling you about, that group, I also developed that whole entire, did I tell you this yesterday? I think I did. I don't know about you, anybody a little tired in here? All right, so I'm trying to connect the dots, and I don't remember what I said. Did I mention this thing about the whole drum thing, and the guy came to me and said, "You're crazy"? Yeah, well, this was a pretty big song on radio for them, and we developed this 6-minute drum breakdown or whatever it was. So people got the song. They're like, "Yeah, I love this song," and we kept most of it intact. But then right after the bridge, we broke down into this whole entire drum thing, 6 minutes, and then modulated, finished with the chorus, and guess what we put on the end? Because it was rocking, we put a trash ending. Yeah, we went like, yeah, boom. So this song is a great song and musical moments where we're stretching. Whether that's a vocal thing, whether that's a guitar thing, whether that's a rhythm thing, whether that's what other instruments do we have, fiddle thing, whatever we're doing, we're developing this because what we want to do is create a musical moment. There's 2 places on purpose I create musical moments. During the different and during the great song, back to back. Let's give them a little bit more of that. They like that musical moment in the different thing. Let's move it up to this next thing and keep it rolling. Song is what I call big fun. Might be little fun. Listen, if this was a restaurant convention and I'd helped, 200 artists, restaurants open, and I've done a lot of research and I've worked with restaurants that are successful, and small ones, big ones, all the above. And part of my research was, I found that 90% of the people that come into restaurants at some time order chicken. Chicken. How many of you restaurant owners now might, as they'd say here in the South, could have some chicken? No, really, unless you're doing a vegan restaurant or something exotic, whether you're a Thai restaurant, you'd have some chicken in it. Mexican restaurant, chicken tacos. Italian, but the key word here now is chicken. Exactly. You make it your own way. I don't care how you have it, but they want to have chicken. So if you want to have a successful restaurant, you might have chicken. Well, how many, you go to shows? Who goes to shows to have fun? Yeah. I mean, it's common. If you walked up to people as they're walking in any venue, say, what do you hope, what do you hope is going to happen in that? Man, I hope I'm going to have some fun. So the question here is, how many of you have fun written into your show? And I don't mean fun. This is where it started all yesterday. I don't mean fun for you. We're back to that. Of course it's fun for you. Look at this beautiful woman look at me and smiling a couple times. She's not looking at me now. Look at me. There you go. This is fun. For me. But she's smiling at me because she's like, I hope he gets done quickly. No, it's got to be fun for your audience. So what we've got to do is construct something in the song that is fun. I heard about this. I didn't see it. But years ago, do you guys know who James Taylor is? Little songwriter. Had a couple hits. Did anyone in this room say no? It's okay if you did. Who has not heard of James Taylor? Oh, good. Well, he's probably had, I have no idea how many number one songs and how many hits over the years. It's ridiculous. And years ago, when he was recording a record, when he started the record, he was married to Carly Simon. Anyone know who Carly Simon is? Okay, she was not as famous as... She wrote the song, You're So Vain. Anyways, so at the beginning of the record, in those days too, records took like 9 months to a year because there were a lot of extracurricular activities usually in the studio and a lot of money being blown. Literally, yes. And I'm not saying he was, but I'm just saying that was the culture of the time. No one was in a hurry. We had because you'd sell 5-10 million records. So it doesn't matter if you spend $250,000 on the record, we'll recoup and we'll have fun doing it. So at the beginning of the record, he's married. By the end of the record, or the release of the record, he's not. So we have a problem here because he's got her singing on a lot of tracks. So he goes out to do a concert, and what's he going to do? So now here's a guy who's written hit after hit after hit after hit. In the middle of his show, and this is how long ago it was, does anyone here remember what a TX 3340 is? Tape machine, yep. It's about this big. And so one of his roadies sets 2 stools out here and puts a TX 3340 with a foot pedal. He sits down next to it, and the pedal controls the thing. So he starts a song, stops it, starts, and her voice is on the TX 3340. So he has this conversation with the tape machine like, you missed your part. No wonder I divorced you. And if anyone knows James or has seen him, he's got this absolutely dry sense of humor. He's hilarious on it's like little fun, not big fun. We're running around, but he's hilarious. Anyway, so here he does. He completely rips apart songs that are classics for the sake of having fun. So my point is this. Inside your songs, we started doing it yesterday with the Rec Laws. Give me that part, Rec Laws. The girls' part? Yes, yeah, what is it? And the guys' part? Come on, sing it to me. Where are you guys?
I just wanna kiss.
Yeah. Could that be fun? This could be real fun. So even if that's a big hit sometime, God willing, we take this song apart, we break it down, and we get the audience involved in the show. Because that's what they come for. Back to the relationship thing. You know, it's not just about you on stage. You're making this, they want to be a part of it. How many times in your life have you ever gone to a concert and heard this? Okay, I'm going to sing a part, you guys sing it back. Okay, so I'm going to say, I use this because I used to do this. I say, boom, boom, you say, out go the lights. I say, boom, boom, you say, can you do that? Can you do that? Boom, boom. Boom, boom. I think this side is doing a better job than this side. How many times have you seen that? Okay, you guys, this from here on over, right from here on over, you sing it for me, and we're going to blow these people away. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. You think you can do better than that? Yeah, you get the point. How many times have you ever been in a concert and had that done over and over and over again, and yet every time they're all going, ah! Because your audience wants to do it. That's one of the reasons they came to the show, to have fun. And that's fun for them. I realize it's sort of mindless at times. You artists can't do that. I'm serious artist. Well, James is a pretty serious artist too, as far as arts go. So, my point is this. We have to have fun in the show. We have to create this fun moment that at the end, give me a high five, people are going, yeah, that was fun. That was awesome. There's that looseness in the room so that people just walk out going, man, that was so much fun. You have a t-shirt, you have a whatever, a mug, whatever, so they can relive that fun. Now, has anyone ever seen anybody bring somebody up on stage before? Yeah. And that's captivating too, particularly if you choose the right people. Well, the thing that always works is kids. Because if you give kids something to do on stage, okay, sing this part with me. And if they sing it, everyone goes, oh, that is so cute. And then if they, you hit the microphone, and now it's your turn. And they stand there and go, guess what? Everyone laughs. Yeah, it's fun. Oh, he's so cute. Either way, do that with me. Say it. Stroke my ego just a little bit. I had a rough night. Point being, key word here is fun. We've got to learn to have fun. And look at our song, find something, audience participation. That was a no-brainer. As soon as you guys started singing that, Amy and Lang, one ear or the other go, audience participation. It was like they knew what to look for immediately in that song, and that could turn into, I'm not kidding, that could turn into 10 minutes. Girls, guys, this side, that side, somebody up, running out into the audience. There's a million ways. And I know we're going, oh, yeah, but I only got... It's about the moment. It's not about trying to cram songs in. I know people that we put that in the show, and they completely missed the point, and they only got 30 minutes to open, so they pull it out of the show. The thing that would have been the best part of the show for some people. Because we think it's about, particularly in this town, the song. It all begins with the song. Well, of course it begins with a song, but it doesn't have to end with a song. So what we're trying to do is create a fun moment here. And I don't have a bunch of time to go into technique, but I said this yesterday. The key is, and I just did it to you, when I say boom, boom, you sing, out go the lights. I say boom, boom, you say, out go the lights. Can you do that? Can you do that? Yes. Here we go. You notice the inflection, the build, the whole thing, rather than, and this is so common, just watch Just go downtown tonight. Don't, because we're going to be here. But you'll have some guy up there on stage who knows his song, and maybe they're, 20% of the audience knows it. They're at a festival or a fair, which is what's going to be happening. So it's just a fun time, and everyone wants to have fun, but everyone doesn't know that artist's song. They're there to see somebody else, or just to have fun, or to get drunk, or whatever they do. And so the artist grabs the microphone, goes, "Catch me down to the and 20% of the people know what he wants because they're married to that artist, but the other 80% are going, ah. And then this, why I've seen this happen. And they see that only 10, 20% react, and they put it backstage and go, "Man, that doesn't work. Forget that audience participation thing." And you're like, "No, you goober. You just don't know how to do it right. Everybody in the whole place was just dying to do it, but you didn't set it up right." So, simple is better, no question about it. Explain it, audiences are. So you've got to explain it simply to them. Get them to do something that is simple. And here's another thing. I know a lot of you, every song, particularly if you got some energy, is, "Come on everybody, put your hands together." Sometimes that's a big mistake, particularly in an audience participation. "Okay, clap with me." And then you try to get them to sing. Then you might as well try to get them to dance too. And after a while, it's just a mishmash of whatever. So don't try to combine too many things, particularly with guys, because it's a little complicated for us. So get them to do this one, and it's a nervous habit for a lot of you, is that you have nothing to do on stage, so you go, or this, "I don't know what I'm doing." But getting people to clap, be intentional about it. All right? We can all do that, and that can be kind of spontaneous. We can plan that at times too. But when we're really getting into the fun and breaking this down, we need to be intentional. We need to work on the audience participation. We know how to break it down, build into it, build it to a peak, make it a cappella, punch it out at the very end, and they'll go crazy. And don't go, when you're doing audience participation, do not go back into let it vamp out. In other words, don't go now back into the bridge, break it down to the slow part, and then build out, because they're all like wanting to sing along to the very end. And then all of a sudden you start playing the song. So another way, intentionally, another way to do this is, if you really want to play the whole song, play the whole song. When you hit the outro, break it down, and then just vamp out. Are you tracking with me at all? All right. All right, so that's big fun moment. We want to trash on that. In fact, we want to double trash. We want to stupid trash. And then, like I said, not everyone's going to be doing this, but it's the idea of a high five. Man, that was fun. And can you sense, if that happens in the room, there's just a freedom. People are like, yeah, loose. They're ready to go. They don't know it. They're ready to go to a serious moment. And then, like I said, not everyone's going to be doing this, but it's the idea of a high five. Man, that was fun. And can you sense, if that happens in the room, there's just a freedom. People are like, yeah, loose. They're ready to go. They don't know it. They're ready to go to a serious moment because they're open. That's what comedians do. They get you laughing and then rip your heart out. So this is a place I do call, actually, Rip Your Heart Out in Love. This is a place that if you have something to say, this is a place to say it. And common thing here for me, we're dropping them off a cliff. And this is a very common place. Now, again, I don't know what you all do, but did you talk about tools, Amy or Lang? This is an important tool for most artists' show. Remember I said yesterday, I'm going to start telling you all these things? No, maybe that was today. Who knows? And there are a bunch of little things, and some of you are going to go, that's good, that's good. I don't need to do that. This stool is an important thing because here's what happens. When you sit down on stage, your audience sits down with you inside. When you stand, they expect you to do something. And some of you gregarious people, Lisa, and others, we always like being up and going for it and all that, and it can wear people out. But as soon as we sit down, they're going to sit down with us, even if they're sitting. You know what I mean? But they sit down inside. You ever have, any of you have kids? You know, you sit them down, but they're standing up inside going, no way, Mom, no way, Dad. Right now we sit down. And now they're actually listening more. This is a place where your strongest lyrics, your message, whatever that might be, if you have something to say to people, this is the place to do it. And even if it's on your record or your CD, whatever we do these days, you're recording with electric and stuff going on, I try to strip this down as far as I can. And vocalists, I try to sing as less as I can. And what I mean by that, even if it's recorded with some really nice vocal thing, I try to what I call squeak. Because many times, when somebody's sitting down, we got acoustic guitar, and then they go off vocally. Instead of the message getting across, what are we paying attention to? The voice. And there's a time in the show for that, at our musical moments and stuff like that. But what we want to do is hear the words. So I try to strip it down as low as I can go. And each artist is different. Some people need a little rumble below it. Some people need a little groove. Depending on the music and your audience and that kind of thing. But I try to, how low can we go and keep the audience's attention? Because now what we're doing is changing the pressure on the audience. Exactly right. How high can we go? How low can we go? Because most of you have this going on. On a scale of 1 to 5, you're just bouncing along somewhere. If you're a 16-year-old rock band, you're bouncing along at a 4 to 5, 4 to 5, 4 to 5, 4 to 5. If you're a 58-year-old inspirational singer, you're down at a 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2. Because you don't have the energy you quite used to have. If you're a pop singer, you're right at a 3, 3.5, 3, 3, 4, 3.5, way up to a 4. And what we do is we kind of, we put a limiter. Anyone know what a limiter is? And a compressor on it. It's exactly what we do. But instead, what we want to do is take it off and drop down, go up, and so that we change the pressure on the audience. And obviously, I don't want to say obviously, I hope it's obvious. The song is the script. That means that we also need to change the way it looks. The song that's rocking, we need to rock. Then we pull it down, sit on a stool. And it doesn't have to be a stool. Some of you can sit on the stage. If you're a rock band, maybe the bass player sits on his amp or a case or something. But the idea is sit down so people can hear your words. Now here's the dilemma with that. When I teach that all the time, I got people come afterwards and go, oh, I'm a singer-songwriter. Then I'm going to sit the whole time because I want them to hear my words. And I'm like, mistake. Chinese water torture again. So, this is the place, and I try to rap maybe 1 or 2 songs, depending on the show. If I'm doing a show where people are listening, I'm putting 2, maybe even 3 songs, depending how good you are, down on this stool. I wrap them around a song. I mentioned the tour support stuff. This is where I put the tour support stuff. The group Thompson Square, any of you guys know who they are? We got it broken down, wrapped around a little video. They had a song called Glass. And it's broken down into this thing. The band's out of it for most of it. and we bring a serious message. And if we keep their attention and come out of this fun, break it down, at the end of this, I'm hoping, in a perfect world, to hear a pin drop in the room. Know this, that it is not bad when you finish this intense or serious or message song if no one claps, because that means it's good. Now, also could swell into a standing O, but it's the kind of thing where people don't want to break the moment. So what we want to create here is a touching moment. And I usually try to wrap it around 2 songs. I definitely do some speaking here. I chat. I might tell a story. If I'm a Christian artist, I tell my testimony. But I wrap around what what am I trying to do with the evening? If there's one point to the evening from a serious perspective, this is it. Anybody sit here at a piano and play? This would be a great place to do that. Sit at the piano and go, so, last week when let's say you want to bring something about a serious subject, autism. One of my best friend's sons has autism, and last week and I'm dinking. Do you get what I mean by dinking? You're not playing, you're just messing around with a few chords, setting the story up. My wife and I, we travel a lot, and when I need a break, I got to get away from everything. In other words, I don't know about you guys, but I am dinking. I can't be by phones and computers and stuff. So my wife and I, we found this little place called Virgin Gorda in the British Virgin Islands. And we rent this house at the top of the hill. And one night, the moon was coming up, and that planet next to it, what is that planet? Mars. And I have one of my favorite artists on the stereo, Sting. And the song was Field of Gold. And we're looking out over this ocean. I could actually see 5 islands from this spot. St. John is there, Tortola is there, Cooper Island, these different islands. And my wife and I were talking about how fortunate we were as people to have what we have. And right in front of us, this whale breach is right in front of us. And I was thinking about, okay, now, I'm just kidding. This is not a true story. But, point is, you're listening to the story. And I could set the song, and the song's called Whales Fly Through the Air. And they're pretty. Everyone in this room can do that. You can find something and wrap it around a song. I play the song. That's where I would start. Then I would go into, so while on that trip, we also go down to the Dominican Republic where we sponsor a child. And I got this letter from my child. It was the most awesome thing. Did I tell you guys this? At Christmas time, we sent a card that the World Vision gives us, and we wrapped it in a rubber band. And we sent it on, and a month later, we got this reply from them saying, thank you so much for the toys. My wife and I are looking at each other like, we didn't send any toys. We like the rubber bands. They're so much fun to play with. It's the only toys we have. I'm sitting there and I'm showing this to my kids who, they're stuffed dolls, iPad, and whatever. And all of a sudden, my daughter looks at me and says, is that real? So as I sponsor a kid, I'm thinking, not only is it good for that kid, it's great for my family because my kid needs to know, hey, the world isn't a Toys R Us world. And then I wrap it around a song. That's actually a true story. And then I wrap it around a song, play the song, I put some images behind me, as I'm playing the song if I've got video, and then I finish the song out. And then at the end I say, go sponsor child, see you in the back. That's when, no, then I get one more song. So that's this touching moment. If you can see here, that's actually 2 songs. Now, I can go 3. A group I mentioned yesterday, Phillips, Craig, and Dean, we would hang out on those stools for about 4 songs because their audience allowed it. And not only allowed it, they liked it. And these guys were clever up here. They're a bunch of goobers. There's 2 Southern guys who got a slew of kids and 1 single guy from the North. And they poked fun at each other and all this. But we have some fun on the stools, light fun between themselves, and they're drawn into it. Anyways, the point is, generally speaking, on my trip from Pittsburgh to LA, I'm putting 2 songs there. If I have an audience that is listening, I'm not going to do this in the club where people are talking, drinking and not paying attention. But when they're listening, I can do it if I can pull it off. Then at the end of this, I head towards my closing. And everybody in this room, if you instinctively, emotionally know what a closer is. How many times have you sat at a concert and you're like, okay, this is cool, and then all of a sudden, here comes the song that gives you a little chill, there's a little emotion going on, and you sense, oh my gosh, this is ending. You know you're headed towards the end. Let me say this, don't say, for my last song. We got one more song for you. Because immediately some people start thinking, kids, keys, cars, traffic, how do I get out of here? So they're already headed towards the door emotionally before you finish. So you got to pull the rug out from them in a good way, meaning, it's over? Oh my gosh, can't believe it. So we want to have a closer. And the best closers I've worked on, it doesn't have to be this way, but the best closers I've worked on take it from quiet to build, to build, to build, to huge payoff. Oh! And double trash can ending. It's emotional, it's got energy. So we actually go from a 1 to a 5. That's the best for me. Because I'll even rearrange a song so that it starts down, comes up. Or I might have a song that's really good rocking song at the end, and then after the bridge, I'll bring it down, kind of say a final goodbye, a last little, hey, before we forget, da-da-da-da, and then head towards the end, build it up, back up after the bridge. A double trash can ending. Thank you very much. Good night. And accept applause and get off stage. And then don't come back for a cheesy encore. Your grandmother's going, "Ma," and you go, "Thank you very much." How many times have you seen that? I know we want to go out and play more, but make sure that if you're not getting an encore, we better figure out how to get one. We've got to make those adjustments. So, I know that's kind of, it's not an exact science. Remember I said follow your instincts on some of these things? It may be different. If you're doing more than one set, what do? First thing I would recommend is don't, if you can, meaning we like to play 2-3 hours because we like being on the stage. Very rare anyone can really hold an audience that long. Now, if there's certain situations, no question, you got to do it. When I played in a cover band, and I did it for 9 months of my life, just enough to birth a baby. That was a joke. I did this graph 4 times. Now, we didn't do the same songs, but we followed the same graph pretty close. We had fun, and it was at a club. We played only one down song, and we didn't pull it all the way down to acoustic. We had part acoustic, part electric, because there's a little noise going on. But we followed the same graph over and over. If you're doing a concert, and this is a great place to go to intermission, You come back, oftentimes, depending on the artist, many times I've had them come out, start on stools, and we do 2 or 3 songs there. Then we go through another fun moment, another touching moment, and another closer. Any more questions? We got to go soon. Oh, yes.
Say you set that up, you've got 9 songs all through here.
Yep.
And as you're going through it, you can see the audience not getting into it. Do you come with a plan B and say, we got to step it up? Or, where do you plug in or change the song?
That's where I follow my instinct. Yeah, that's where I follow my
So you
instinct.
have to go with the 9 songs.
But generally, yeah. But generally speaking, this is me, and I'm talking about. I'm really trying to push you guys away from clubs into concerts, and even if you have to put it on your own, something's wrong though if they're not with you. If they're in a listening mood, you know what I mean? Because you're not leading them the place you want. You're not capturing them. So rather than putting in a substitute quarterback, it's the system that's wrong. Yes.
Composition of originals versus covers to start with?
Depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Depends where you play. Where do you play, real quick?
Community events.
Community events. I would find a couple covers. Here's where my whole analogy, though. If you are trying to do this for a living and be an artist who does this, if you do too many covers, you're going to be compared to. I remember one showcase that happened, and the group was on stage, and everyone there was ministry people there, and they were like, yeah, this is good, this is good. Then they played a Beatles song, and then everyone went, oh yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. And all of a sudden they lost the gig because they played a Beatle cover, which was so much better than their songs, that seriously, that's what happened. So if you sing a Carrie Underwood, I'm just pulling pop country, a Carrie Underwood song, a Taylor Swift song, you're going to be compared to them. So I personally, when I go for a cover thing, I like to rearrange it and make it my own. If I'm doing a club and we're doing cover songs, go for it. It's the opposite way. How do we stick originals in? And I try to put those originals back to back to back and then move on. But I'm not sure I'm answering your question. Yeah, but here's the deal. To be taken as a serious artist eventually, if you do too many covers, you're going to be put in the category of cover band. Good cover band, but there you go.
Cool.
You
can ask more questions like that at backstage, actually, specific questions. So
Look at you.
keep that in mind.